Let's get started. Check you've got a space around you. Look after your posture, look after your correction every time you do a move. Remember, I can't see you, so you take it upon yourself to make sure you correct yourself to safeguard you against injury. Okay, so let's start with those heels directly underneath those hip bones. Make sure the knees don't lock out. Set the pelvis upright on top of the thigh bones with your pubic bone and hip bones level. Remember that natural curve to your lower back to keep the pelvis in line, to keep the back nice and safe. Core muscles in between those hip bones are switched on. Imagine doing up a tight pair of jeans perhaps, and zip up with the pelvic floor gently. Keep the rib cage down, keep the shoulders back. Let's go through the breathing. Close the eyes for the moment if you want to. Or breathe in through the nose, inflate the chest. Breathe out through the mouth, let the ribs deflate down. Keep breathing in that manner. Remember, we need to keep the core muscles constant and firm, hence we're taking the air into the chest. Thoracic breathing, Pilates style if you like. In through the nose and out through the mouth. As you take your breaths, allow the mind and body to connect a little closer. Feel your posture, feel your joints, feel your muscles. Keep the chest open, back of the neck nice and long, and breathe. Try and settle your weight into the floor evenly. Maybe rock yourself just slightly round and round. Feel the base of the feet moving on the floor. And then settle, plucking your big toe, little toe and heel into the floor beneath you. Let's stretch through the neck gently. Then you can keep your eyes closed if you wish. Drop the chin to the chest. Gently roll the head from one side to the other. Loosening up and stretching out gently. There we go. Drop the chin down to the chest, bring the eyes forwards. Let's roll those shoulders. Move backwards and forwards. Okay, bend the knees and circle those feet. We're going to start off with some monkey swings. Brushing your fingers backwards and forwards on the floor. We'll take the feet a little wider so that you're secure, but definitely no wider than your shoulders. Tummy muscles in when you bend the knees. Just make sure the legs don't collapse. Breathe in, lift up. Breathe out, bend the knees, drop your bottom, arms back and forth, and breathe in to lift up again. And again, drop down. Nice big breaths. Blow the cobwebs away. You're driving through the heels, pumping through the legs to bounce you up and down. Feel all those leg muscles fire up. Your heart rate lifting a little bit. Notice how my shoulders are not coming up to my ears. Keep them down. Keep that neck nice and long. Last time. Release the arms down. Simply sway and swing from side to side to loosen out through the middle. Excellent. And release. I'd like you to take yourself to the back of your mat. We're going to start at the back and we're going to do a few roll downs and a few more stretches when we get to the floor. So heels must be in line with the hips this time. Core muscles are switched on. Roll the shoulders back to start. Breathe in at the top. Exhale. Drop the chin to the chest. Drop the arms and shoulders forward. Slowly peel yourself down. Keep the tummy scooped. Let the hands fall towards the floor. Close your eyes if you wish. Don't worry if you can't reach the floor, of course, and you can bend those knees a little, take the pressure away. Let's restack, scooping up the tummy, rebuild the spine from the base, working upwards. Allow the ribs to drop down, shoulders to melt into place and the head comes up last. And again, breathe in. Exhale, chin to chest. In your mind's eye, see the spine lengthening out, each section stretching as if it was on a piece of elastic. Spine getting longer, more space in between each vertebrae. Muscles either side of the spine stretching as well, of course. Do bend the knees if they feel too tight. Just don't let the knees crush together. And restack. Core muscles switched on all the time. Imagine the tummy muscles are switching the, restacking the spine, switching everything on as it rolls upwards. Shoulders melt, head up last. Breathe in at the top. Exhale, same again, but we'll add on this time. So collapse your shoulders forwards, tummy scoot. Let the hands fall towards the floor again, constantly feeling a little longer. This time we're going to bend the knees fully and take them down to the floor. I want you to turn half a turn towards the camera, towards your screen even. I'm turning towards the camera. Take that right leg out nice and straight. Slide the right hand down over that leg, creep it down, then up and over with the left arm. Keep that gap, remember, keep those shoulders stabilised, but a nice long stretch from knee to finger. Keep breathing. Use your core muscles to bring you back. We're going to turn back to face the way we started. Keep that front leg in front. Curl the toes under behind you. Come into a lunge. We're going to take the left hand down. As you breathe out, twist away from the screen. Fingers up to the ceiling. If that's too troublesome, as always, you can put the knee down or drop the arm behind your back. But keep the bottom low as you can manage. Nice lunge twist. Coming back down, we're going to step forwards now for a chair. So melt the knee to the floor first of all, and then bring that left foot forwards, bottom up to the sky. Straighten the legs only as much as you can. We're going to do chair next. So lock into those cores, press your heels down into the floor, take the hands together, and simultaneously you're going to drop your bottom and lift your arms and chest up into your chair. So shoulders away from the ears, bottom is nice and low, tucked under, core muscles are in. Hands, if necessary, can go to those thighs, but shoulders drawn down. Stay strong. Keep breathing. From chair, we're going to go to warrior 3. You can keep your hands on your hips or arms in front. As you exhale, push down with the feet. Lengthen up. Press your right foot into the floor. Step your left leg back. Tilt the body. You're aiming to keep everything in line, so fingers to toes in a nice straight line, core muscles switched on. Centre yourself to find your balance. And then if you feel it's suitable for you, keep moving through the body in line. So body lowers, leg lifts. Standing leg is slightly soft. Try not to lock the knee, but breathe. And try and manage that balance for me. Now we're going to try and stride to the back of the mat. Gently does it. Release and stride. Take that foot back. Just readjust so you're back in the centre of your mat. We're going to do triangle now. So you've got your right toes facing the short top edge of your mat. Hips, shoulders, left toes facing the long edge of your mat. Arms out at shoulder height. Try and keep both legs straight. Reach right fingers over right toes. Now tilt. Take the hand to the shin or the thigh. Rest your weight there. Stronger ones, you can turn the back of the hands to the inside of the leg. So top shoulder, hand above, not thrown behind or down here, up to the sky. If it's too much, neck and shoulder, of course, hand could go behind your back. Back of the knee feels too tight, just soften a fraction, but not too much. See if you can't lengthen those feet out in both directions. Keep breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Imagine there's a brick wall behind you. Pin those shoulders up against that brick wall. Okay, drop the arm down, bend the knee, push into the foot to lift up. We're going to turn the feet now. So you're going to turn to face the other side. Bend both knees, take yourself down. That back knee can go to the floor if you wish. We're going to downward facing dog. So press into the hands, lift up with the bottom, and gently press down with the heels. Tummy in, hands pressing the floor away, shoulders nice and broad, core muscles switched on all the way through. Remember, we're trying to get the chest a little closer to the toes here. So spread those shoulders wide and breathe. Okay, release and melt the knees down to the floor. We're going to walk our hands back to the knees. Lift the knees and bottom back up. Chin to chest, core muscles in. Let's slowly restack. all the way up to standing, and you should be at the other end of the mat now. We'll do the whole thing with the other leg leading. So breathe in at the top, exhale, chin to chest. We'll go roll down straight into that gate pose. Tummy in, take the hands and knees to the floor. Left leg comes forwards, turn, a quarter turn so you're facing your screen. Slide the left hand down the leg up and over with the right arm. Shoulder away from the ear, remember? Nice long stretch all the way down the side of the body. Keep breathing. We're going into lunge twist next. So take the arm back, turning back. Just wriggle that left foot over a fraction. Curl the toes under behind you, lift up, sink back down with the hips. Right hand goes down as you breathe out, twist chest to thigh, and left fingers lift up. Turning away from the screen. Drop the hands behind your back if your neck demands that. Feel that twist through the waist. If you struggle to twist, of course, knee going down to the floor behind you will help tremendously. Okay, take that hand down. You can put the knee down for this, but if you need to, we need to take the right foot forwards. Bottom up to the sky. Chin to chest, relax through the upper body. And then prepare for chair. Make sure your feet are hip distance apart. Tummy in, drop your bottom, hands together. Lifting up, but keep that bottom low. Shoulders down away from the ears. Core muscles in. Try not to let those knees crash together. If you struggle with your knees, by all means put feet and knees together. Breathe in. Breathe out. Push down with the feet. Lift up through the arms. You're going to shift your weight over to the left hand side. Float the right and tip. So just settle yourself first. Crawl the shoulders away from the ears, core muscles in. And then if you feel stable, you can keep tipping and lifting, keeping yourself in line. Try not to lock that standing knee, of course. Core muscles in. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Little wobble there. Keep breathing. And stare those eyes. When you're ready, we're going to stride back with that right foot and just readjust so you come in to the centre. We're going to go into triangle now. So you've got your left toes facing the short edge, hips and shoulders facing the long edge. Arms out at shoulder height, bottom tucked under. Reach left fingers over left toes. Tilt, take the hand to the shin. Right fingers up for the ceiling or drop the arm behind if that suits you better. But pin those shoulders back, core muscles in, and breathe. You can look forwards or you can look up. Final move in this sequence, we've got downward facing dog. So release the arm, bend the knee, take the hands down, put that back knee on the floor if you need to, and then take that left foot back, push your bottom up to the sky, stretch down the back of those legs again, pressing the hands into the floor. Really allow the palms and the fingers to connect with the floor so that you can send your body backwards and upwards. Core muscles in, tease those heels down, and breathe. Okay, let's melt those knees to the floor now. We'll do a cat and a cow stretch. So bring those hands back a fraction. Draw the tummy muscles in. Lift the middle of the back up for the ceiling. Press the floor away. Tuck the bottom and chin under. As you next breathe out, sag through your chest and upper tummy. Keep the core muscles switched on, of course. Pelvic floor zipped up just to support. But allow your back to sag. And once again, breathe in to draw upwards. And breathe out to drop down. Okay, we're going to take it down to the floor now. I'm just going to change my camera angle. So laying on your back with your knees bent, feet on the floor, heels in line with the hips. Remember, those knees have got to stay at that right angle. So where your feet go is determined by the right angle at the knee. Pelvis is in neutral. Core muscles are switched on. I'm going to go from level 1, 2, all the way up to the 3 in the reverse. So you choose the level that suits you best. Don't keep galloping on if you're finding it a super challenge. So fingertips on those hip bones once you've found your neutral and your core muscles are switched on, of course. Chin tucked under. We'll breathe in to prepare. As you breathe out, gently float one foot off the floor. We're going to centre that pelvis to start with. Hover the knee and then breathe in to melt the foot back to the floor. Breathe out, pick the other foot up, hover the knee. Breathe in, melt down. Double check the back, stays in neutral. Core muscles stay switched on. Pelvis, of course, has got to stay still. If you're finding that's tricky, the pelvis is tilting from side to side, keep the feet light and really tighten underneath the belly button. Feel that tension, centre that pelvis and keep it still as you swap the feet over. So stay with this if this is a challenge. If you have centred the pelvis, as you next exhale, float one leg. Breathe in, prepare. Maybe soften the back a little if you wish, and as you exhale, float the other. So long as there's no reaction, a jolt through the torso, that's fine. Breathe in to float the first leg and the second leg back down to the floor. Breathe out to float the leg you've just lowered. Breathe in, prepare. Breathe out, press down if you need to, and float the other leg. Breathe in to go down and down. And we'll keep simply repeating that. Remember, the aim of the game eventually is to maintain neutral throughout all of the moves. But if that's simply too much, you're in just that little halfway place, then feel free to soften the back into the floor whenever you start to go to a double leg level. So single or double legs, you can make things more challenging by lengthening the legs and slowing the move right down. So you choose your level in that regard too. With the hands, back of the hands can rest on the floor if you wish, or you can cross the arms over your chest. That'll make it that little bit more difficult. I'm going to move up one more level now and go into the reverse basic lift. This is only for people who can have two legs in the air. So this is your starting position this time. We'll breathe in to melt one foot to the floor. Right angle at the knee still. Breathe out, pick it back up. Other leg. Breathe in, melt down. Just touch the floor lightly. Breathe out, pick it back up again. So there's a lot more weight going through the core to maintain that back in neutral or slightly flat if you prefer. And same as always, longer legs will make it harder for you. So you determine your level. You breathe in to lower the leg to the floor. Touch gently, breathe out to bring it back up. Core muscles working nice and firm. Don't allow them to dome up, remember. Whatever you do, do not allow your back to arch. Nice and smooth, nice and slow, really connecting with those core muscles. Breathe in to lower, breathe out to return. Shoulders relaxed, back of the neck nice and long. Okay, let's make this one the last one. Oh, let's hug those legs into the chest. So bring yourself up to seated, about halfway down your mat. You can have your legs bent or straight, it's completely up to you. We're going to do a roll up with an opening twist and make sure one hand stays forward and the other hand reaches back, aiming to twist through the ribs. So core muscles are switched on, shoulders are dropped down, keep those arms nice and loose. Breathe in. As you exhale, collapse and sink and open out to that side. One arm reaches back, the other arm stays forwards. You're really working through the waist. Breathe out to come forwards. Breathe in, breathe out to sink. Breathe in as you reach. Breathe out to engage and come forwards. To keep this nice and slow, that's why I'm suggesting breathe out. As you reach, pause to breathe in, breathe out to come forwards. Reach as far as you can. Twisting through the waist, reaching out. Hollowing out through the tummy muscles. Couple more to each side. Keep hollowing out the tummy, keep those feet on the floor. I know it's hard. Last one. And reach forwards over those legs for a moment. Okay, we're going to stretch long now. We're going to do a move called the side kick. So we're going to roll over onto one side. Now for this move we need to be very, very straight. So I suggest you use the edge of your mat to help you to stay straight. Make sure this hand doesn't touch the floor, doesn't grip the floor I should say. Turn the palm up for the ceiling instead. And your ear rests down on your shoulder. If you've got a thin cushion, my cushion here is too big, thin cushion or a folded up towel maybe, you can, if you wish for comfort, put the towel or cushion in between ear and shoulder. So the legs are long, they're stacked one on top of the other. Fingers in front of your chest. Core muscles are switched on. As you exhale, point the toes, lengthen the legs. Allow them literally to float. We're not lifting them, we're just floating them. Imagine you're standing and you're pointing to the sky. Eyes straight ahead. You want to promote a nice straight back and straight neck. Fingers in front if you're a bit wobbly, otherwise hands on the thigh. You're going to stay where you are. I'm just going to move position just to give you a bit of instruction. So if I go straight like this, you can then see that my body from top to toe is in a straight line. Now the things that go wrong with this move is that people fall backwards onto their bottom and their legs come forward. No longer does the abdominals have to do anything because you're just balanced on a larger part of your body. The brain will naturally want you to do this because it's easier. Equally, it's very easy to force the back to do too much work and the feet then go behind you, the top hip comes forwards. This is a banana bend. So this is no good as well because the back is doing all of the work. Tummy muscles are lengthened and stretched. They're not doing anything. So you have to be, unfortunately, in that uncomfortable, wobbly position in the middle. So hopefully you are in the middle and balancing. Just for a few more moments. Okay, and melt down, hug the legs into the chest. This is where you're going to grab your pillow and rest your head on it. You need to bring your head to the front edge of your pillow so you've got plenty of pillow behind you. Your legs are curled in as they are here. Your bottom arm is outstretched. We're going to circle the top arm. If you have any shoulder problems, find it's too much of a strain through the shoulder, do as I'm doing now. Put your fingers there. You're shortening the arm halfway, and so there isn't quite so much of a strain through the shoulder. Otherwise it's lengthened arms, core muscles are in. Your aim is to keep the hips still. So imagine you've got a cup of coffee on top of your hip here. Taking the arm back, allow the head to roll back, hence the pillow. Shoulder drops back, ribs drop back, but the hip does not. You are not aiming to reach the floor with your hand. Hand comes by the hip and the thigh, back to the front. 2 more times in this direction. We're aiming to rotate through the waist as much as you can. As I said, if it's too much for the shoulder, then take the hand to the shoulder, bend the arm in half. It'll lessen the load through the shoulder for you. Knees should not come apart, the hips should not roll back. We're going to stop now and reverse the other way. This way can be more challenging for the shoulder. Take care. But core muscles in, keep the hips still. Smooth, slow, you're still breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Nice slow movements. We've got one more circle. Super. And there. Okay, we're going to come up onto all fours now. Won't need the pillow for this one. So, onto all fours. We're going to do a move called the tabletop. We'll go to the other side in a second. So tabletop does what it says on the tin, basically. You are a tabletop and that table's not allowed to move around. Imagine you've got your dinner rested against your back. You don't want to lose any of your dinner. So we're going to work opposite hand to leg. But first of all, let's set up that back. Nice and straight. Again, no sagging allowed. Okay? Tuck your bottom under. Tighten in those abdominals under the belly button. Lengthen through the neck, draw those shoulders down away from your ears, and then you're good to go. So, Right arm, left leg. Slide the fingers forward, slide the toes back without leaning to the side. If you feel stable, float fingers and toes. Float the mat back down to the floor and very softly switch over to the other side. Remember, you've got your dinner laying across your back. As you switch from side to side, keep it very subtle and soft. Don't clonk and blonk the arm and leg down. Keep it smooth, keep it slow. Keep the tummy muscles drawn in. Breathe out to lengthen. Breathe in to slide back. And you don't have to lift very high. Definitely not going any higher than the hip. Might not even be going that high. And always make sure, by taking a little look, to make sure that your knees have come back to the right place. It's quite common for the knees to end up back here and the hands to end up forward like this. You've lost your tabletop then. So always bring those knees back to underneath the hips, hands to underneath the shoulders. But I'd like you to make that one your last one now. You're going to push your bottom back to your heels and have a little rest. Staying on the front, we're going to go down to the dart. You're laying completely flat on your front, hands down by your hips, forehead towards the floor. Notice how the legs are long, flat and relaxed. You want to keep those legs in that state as much as you possibly can. Do not allow the legs to spring into the air with this move. We're trying to focus everything around your waist. So chin tucked under, core muscles are switched on. Breathe in to prepare. As you breathe out, reach the hands down the sides of the legs, square off the shoulders as you do so, tighten into the lower back. You should find that your chest is floating. Chin stays tucked under, however. Legs are still relaxed and flat. Breathe in and very slowly melt the chest and forehead to the floor. Breathe out. Execute through the arms, reaching fingers, squaring off shoulders, tightening everything down into that lower back. Breathe in and release down. Imagine somebody's pulling on those hands to draw the shoulders down into a soft V in the bottom of your back. Tighten everything around your waist as you do so. And remember, belly button pulled in. It's very easy to push the tummy into the floor to make you lift. Please don't do that. We don't want to promote ourselves to have blown out tummies. We want to train the muscles to draw in. And notice how the movement is very slow on the way up and on the way down. Bring it back to our core principles of precision and control. We're going to make this one the last one. And then take the hands under the chest, push back up onto all fours, and we'll do a cat stretch. Tuck the bottom and chin under, fully lengthen through the spine and across the shoulders. Okay, then we're going to take it to the other side. So we're going to do the side kick and then the lying arm circles. So lay yourself out nice and long. Again, use the edge of your mat. Ear resting down. Legs are stacked, eyes on the horizon, tummy muscles are switched on. As you exhale, tighten and lengthen. If you need those fingers in front, then leave them. If not, hand on the thigh. Eyes on the horizon, of course, and breathe. In through the nose and out through the mouth. And remember last time when I turned 90 degrees to the camera. Check that you haven't fallen back onto your bottom. Equally, check that you haven't tightened through your back. Keep the belly button drawn in. Keep the bottom tucked under. Keep breathing. Imagine you're lengthening your body. Check that bottom hand. Check it isn't gripping the floor. You can keep your fingertips on the floor for as long as you wish. As you're training to get better and better, you can just reduce to one finger and then float the finger. Don't suddenly try and move the hands to the thigh because that might destabilize you a little too much. Okay, melting down. Hug the legs into the chest. We'll grab that cushion. Remember your head goes to the front edge of the cushion so that there's space for it to roll back. The legs stay curled in. Bottom arm out in front of you. Top arm on top. Remember to bend the arm if you need to look after a shoulder problem. So core muscles in, keep the hips still. Imagine that cup of coffee on your hips again, circling around all the way. Breathing in and breathing out. Core muscles in, keep the hips still. Definitely keep the knees together. You're not aiming to get the hand to the floor behind you, remember, just as far as your body will allow. We'll reverse now and go 3 times in the opposite direction. Remember to drop the head and the shoulder behind you. Don't just rotate through the arm, you will damage your shoulder. You must allow the rib cage to go back with you. And one more circle. Okay, and come to seated. We're going to stay on this side, but I'd like you to fold your mat up just the edge once. We're going to do a move called mermaid. It's quite strong-ish, but it's a very good one for the waist. So the elbow is directly underneath the shoulder. The bottom leg is bent, but it's tucked behind you. Please don't have the leg in front, it won't help. Leg is tucked behind you, top leg goes on top. You're going to press your foot, your knee, your elbow into the floor. Core muscles are in. As you exhale, push down, elbow, knee and foot a little. Float the arm overhead. It's very good for strengthening through the shoulder. It's very good for the waist. Slowly coming down. We're only going to do 4 of these because these are quite strong. If you want to do more of them, feel free to pause the video and do some more. Try not to collapse into that shoulder. Press the shoulder away. Keep it strong. That's 4. Gently going over to the other side. If you know what you're doing, obviously you can possibly turn away from the camera or the screen. But elbow directly underneath the shoulder. Bottom leg is bent, tucked back. Top leg on top. Core muscles in. Pushed away from the neck. Breathe in to prepare. Breathe out to press down and float. Breathe in to come down. Keep the shoulder pressing away. Press into the side of the knee and the elbow. We've got one more. And release. Coming up to seated, we're just going to stretch from side to side. Keep your bottom glued. We're just loosening out through the shoulder and the waist that we've just worked. And that takes us nicely into the saw. It doesn't sound very pleasant. That's just the name of the move. It's an original move though, from Joseph Pilates. So, the original move has your legs out wide. That's not suitable for everybody, okay? So if you want to bring those legs in, feet together, one in, one out, crossed legs, both feet on the floor, knees bent. Really doesn't matter. The only thing you can't do is sit on one bum cheek. You must have both bum cheeks glued to the floor. Now for some, sitting upright without a back support is just not possible. For some people, the hip flexors won't do it. For some people, the back and the core won't do it. For you, you grab your cushion, you sit on your cushion, and that will lift you up. You need to be in this position throughout the move. So that can be quite challenging. So sit on your cushion if you need to. I'm going to sit with my legs wide because that's simply how I'm used to doing this move. You don't have to. Wriggle your bottom into the floor, round off those shoulders, grow through the spine, crown up towards the ceiling. We're going to go from side to side. Take the arms out a bit like a ballerina. Little finger to little finger. It's going to go toe to toe on opposite sides. So breathe in to prepare. As you breathe out, twist through the waist. Aim little finger to little toe. You're not going to meet necessarily, but that's the way you're headed. Breathe in to lift up. Breathe out to twist, other side. So what we're doing here is we're stretching, I'm sure you can feel it, from heel up towards your hip, back of the knee maybe. We're stretching across the shoulders, diagonally from shoulder down to opposite hip as well. So we're stretching across your back. You're working through your waist. Core muscles are switched on, simply twisting from side to side. You might hopefully find that you're reaching a little further each time. Have you sunk? Sit tall. Twist and reach as you breathe out. And reach. We'll do one more to each side. We're winding down now, coming towards the end of the class. And release. Give those shoulders a wiggle. Bring those legs in. We're actually going to take both feet over to one side now. We're going to do a stretch called the mini triangle. So both feet are over to my right, so I'll take my left hand to the floor. So your hand goes to the opposite side to the feet. Push down with the hand and the two knees. Reach the other fingers for the sky. Press your hips forwards. We're trying to open through the hip area. Looking up if you can, but you don't have to. If that arm lifted is too much, you can drop the hand behind your back. But the idea is that you pin the shoulder back, you press your hips forwards, just to open out through those hip flexors. And release down. We'll simply go to the other side. So remember, the hand goes to the floor, the opposite side of the feet. It's foot to thigh with that front leg. Hand to the floor, other hand to the sky. Push the hips forwards as far as you can. Remember, you can drop the arm behind your back if the neck or shoulder struggles. Keep breathing. Still in through the nose and out through the mouth. You're still connected through your core. You're still supporting. And we're training our brain to keep those core muscles connected every time we move. And release. I'm turning to the side now, but you don't have to. Sit comfortable on that cushion if you need to. Take the arms behind. Lace the fingers together. Lift them up, drop your chin. If that's too much, just take your arms out to the side and spread your palms out. That's enough to stretch across the chest. And then we'll reverse that. Imagine you've got a large boulder in front of you. Give it a big hug, drop your chin, really open out across the back of the rib cage. This time you can sink backwards to help that stretch out a little if you wish. Breathe and then release. Back to the front one final time. I always do this at the end of most of my classes. It just releases the tension from the shoulders. Lift the shoulders up, actually shrug them up. Now take the elbows up and the hands. Breathe in and breathe out. Just feel all the tension drain away from your body. Doing that once more. Shoulders, elbows and hands. Breathe in and drop. Thank you very much for joining me for my class. Really appreciate it. I do hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you again in class soon. Take care. Bye bye.